All right, good evening, everybody. Last video for the day, hopefully. I'm hoping, good gravy. So a lot of stuff is dumped over the past couple days from Atomic Mass Games in place of their mini extravaganza. So in a way, we're still getting a mini extravaganza, but in a quicker, condensed version, which makes me super excited, especially when I look at what they're revealing right now. What else are they going to do for the rescheduled mini extravaganza? Because we still have another day of reveals, hopefully of reveals. Tomorrow being not as long as today and Wednesday should have been, but we're still going to have a possibility of a lot of other content coming on. So earlier today, we did a video covering the big reveals of pretty much everything that's coming between now and September. So we know Heimdall and Scourge are in July. Hopefully, we'll get something else. Oh, we are actually getting something else in July. And then we've got something, at least one thing coming for Marvel Crisis Protocol in, I think it was August. And then at least three, possibly four things in September. Now, those dates can, of course, change. And they could be dates for Europe, tentative dates for Europe, and then they have to readjust for the US. So these things could get moved up and down the line, but we know between now and the end of quarter three, which is September, we know that we got a lot of stuff coming down the line. I messed that up in my previous video. I was calling quarter three October. That's actually quarter four, October, November, December. So that's my bad. Now let's get into, so this isn't a long video, panel to play for Heimdall and Scourge. As many of you guys know, I've got previous videos for Black Swan, Supergiant, Heimdall, and Scourge where I did my prediction of what their cards are. First time I decided to do that. And it was kind of big misses, even though it wasn't a total loss. I do have to take the L on Supergiant and Black Swan largely. I would say about 75%. We'll call it a 1 to 3. Let's just say 1 to 3 right now. I've got a lot. I got some of it right, but a lot of it wrong. That's just an arbitrary number, like 75% wrong, 25% right. Maybe it might be a little bit more balanced in there. I'm not going to try to figure it out right now, but we do have an opportunity to see how well I did when I refined that process with Heimdall and Scourge. Really, Heimdall and then Scourge I did, I think, prior to Heimdall. It could have been after. I already know that I did mess up with Scourge because I left out a few key powers. Even as I read them off during that prediction video, I totally ignored putting them down as character abilities. So I know I'm going to take some loss on Scourge. But let's take a look at Heimdall. We're going to dive right into his card right off the bat. And we're going to pull up my earlier prediction for Heimdall. Let's take a look at his stats. So looking at Heimdall, the All-Seeing, otherwise known as Heimdall. We're going to take a look at his stats. So his defenses, physical, energy, and mystic are 3s across the board. So victory, yay! There's at least 3 right. Then we got the 3 threat, the medium movement. I know I'm all over the place between my future prediction videos will reflect the new stat card layout. Anyways, medium movement, size 2, 3 threat. We are on point. Now, some of you are going to see it's 6 health, and I got a 5/6. He is actually 6/5. So he's 6 on his healthy side. He's a 5 on his dazed side. I'm still going to count that as a 100%, well, like 99.9% win. Just need to flip the numbers. But that's still a win across the board. I am happy about that because this is the first time that I am basically 100% right. And we're just going to call that a 100% win right there. Enough to say 100%. At least that's what my mom would tell me. All right, moving on. So first we're going to take a look at his character abilities. Then we'll match up my character ability predictions before we move on to Scourge. So we have Strike. It's a physical attack. Range 2, 5 dice, 0 damage. After this attack is resolved, this character gains power equal to damage dealt. Awesome sauce. And I know you guys that are driving and watching, or sorry, driving and listening and not watching while you're driving, you guys, when you get home, just head over to Atomic Mass Games page and take a look at the cards yourselves, or watch the video. Just make sure you hit a like on this. I really do appreciate it. Don't comment while you're driving. But if you guys are hanging out, watching somewhere safely, go ahead and leave a comment. Anyways, our next ability is Horfund. I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. It is a physical attack. This is his sword. It's range 2, 7 dice of damage, 3 power, and has the special ability, if this attack deals damage after the attack is resolved, this character can push the target character away medium range. Usually we see push away short range. This is a medium range, which is really interesting. I'm kind of digging that. Now we dive into his powers. We have the first superpower, Guardian of the Bifrost. It's going to cost 3. And choose this character or another character allied within range 4, which is a very long range, and place that character, or this one, within range 2 of its current position. That's potentially some really big range movement there. In a sense, I like that. And now here's the kicker: a character can be placed by this superpower only once per turn. Not the superpower can only be used once per turn, but a character. So if you've got the power, unless I'm misreading this, you can place multiple characters. They can only be placed once each. But if you've got 4 characters and for some reason you've got somehow 12 power laying around, which shouldn't be possible, but let's say you do have 12 power, then you could move 4 other characters around. Pretty awesome. I don't know how often that would come into play, but you guys can see the strategic benefit of that. So the next one is a reactive power, one of 2. It's the All-Seeing Eyes. This is a 2 cost power. And so when an allied character within range 3 is attacking, defending, or dodging during the modified dice step, this character can use the superpower. The allied character can re-roll up to 2 of its own dice. That's not too bad. That's actually pretty, that the power cost with the amount of dice is pretty standard. I like this ability. Now there is an alternative version of this. So alternatively, when an allied character within range 3 rolls dice for a crisis or team tactic card, which is like, this is the first time I heard where you get to do anything with crisis card or team tactic cards. This character can use the superpower. The allied character may re-roll up to 2 of its own dice. Now, please pay attention that it is a reactive power, so you can, in this particular one, you can use it multiple times as long as you have the power. That's not too bad. Plus the ability to re-roll dice from a crisis card or a team tactic card. Oh, that's pretty awesome. All-Seeing Eye is nice. The next one is called Forfend. It costs 2 power. When an enemy character ends their movement within range 2 of Heimdall, Heimdall can use this power, or may use the power, not must. You get to immediately make a strike attack against the enemy character, and it can only be used only once per turn. Not too bad for 2 power. Not too bad at all, especially when he's hitting with 5 dice. That's not too bad. And then you turn around, hopefully regenerate that 2 power that you just spent. That's a really good spender. I like that one. And then, of course, as in his Guardian, he's got the get an additional power during the power phase. Let's jump over to my character card predictions and see how wrong we are. So, looking at my strike and his strike, my strike says a range 2, 5 dice, 0 power. We're on the nose. Gain power. I put gain power equal to damage. They've got after this attack is rolled, gain power. Oh, perfect. We're right there. Yay! I'm gonna have to take a part loss on this. Because I had the wild. If you rolled wild, you got incinerate, because his sword does do stuff like that, but they didn't go that route. Totally okay. I'm going to say, since I have the majority of this right, that this is a win. So another victory on him. Next one is Horfund, and that's why I just called it Horfund Unleashed. And I'm sure there's some grammar people that know how to pronounce that correctly. They're just screaming right now because I'm calling it probably like the wrong name. Anyways, I had range 3, 6 dice, 2 power. We're pretty close with their range 2, 7, and 3. So not too shabby there. I'd had on a wild symbol, you get to push the target range S plus stun. In this case, if you cause damage, you get to push them range M. I'm going to call this overall still a win. We are pretty gosh darn close. The only way I could be closer is if I was like knee deep and had my fingers in the brain, or I was whispering sweet nothings into the designer's mind. That's the only way I would get it correct. I'm still going to count this a win. Definitely going to count it a win. Now, where I'm going to take a loss partially is the leadership ability. I thought he would be a leader for Asgard. Right now, no go. So unless there is a team tactic card that comes out with Heimdall, and I don't think there is. Actually, we might take a look at that at the end of the video, or I'll just put it in the comments below. Actually, we'll do that. We'll put it in the comments below. The names of the team tactic cards. There might be one where, just like with Corvus Glaive getting a leadership ability if Thanos isn't in, there could be one that allows Heimdall to be in instead of just giving him a leadership ability. We might see a repeat of that process. But right now, I mainly got it wrong. However, let's take a look at the Regent's abilities to reroll 1 dice roll per activation, even if it's a skull. That's what I had. Now, that is not exact as the all-seeing eyes, but it's a pretty gosh darn within the ballpark that I can still call it a relative win. It's not a leadership ability, but we still get the reroll dice, so I was on the right track. I'm counting it as a win. You guys might be screaming, saying, no, it's not a win. You obviously need to take the L. Guys, we're in the ballpark. That's re-rolling dice. That's allowing re-roll dice. We're there. Okay, come on. The next one, the power of the Bifrost, I had as 4 power. They have theirs as 3. The target Heimdall or another character can move long range from their current position versus the pick a character or Heimdall that's within range 4 and place it within range 2. Man, we are pretty gosh darn close there. That just some different measurements there. We got that one right. We got the idea, guys. I'm counting that as 100% ish, right? We're pretty on point right now, except him being a leader. And we still haven't seen the team tactic card. Then we've got the healing factor, which we know he does have in the comics, but they did not carry it over, which is totally fine. It's not really something that he's well known for. So I'm fine. That I'll take that loss. And then the Asgardian power to gain additional power in a power phase. That's a pretty much a no-brainer. Yay, victory. I'm going to call a victory on this one. Not quite 100%, but enough to say I got it right. I'd give myself an A, not an A plus. Maybe there could be an A minus in there if I actually had anything beyond an arbitrary grading system. I would say we're definitely an A, maybe a B plus, somewhere in between there. Now let's take a look at Scourge. So we got the Scourge panel to play. There is some somebody pointed out on Facebook in one of the various Facebook groups I'm in. They described everything a little different in this than they did with than the card. So there are some differences. Read the card. Don't do the review of the article. So we're actually going to cover the card right now. And we're going to compare. So let me go ahead and get my comparison up there so we can have these side by side. So we're pretty close here on the stats. 4 physical, 3 energy, and a 2 mystical versus my 4, 3, 3. So I was wrong on the mystical, and I should have thought about that because he's easily enchanted by the Enchantress and other people and Hela. He's kind of a lapdog, really, at the end of the day. A loyal lapdog and a good defender, but he's a lapdog. Definitely, I would say he's the Asgardian version of a simp. So moving over, we've got 6 health versus I had 5/6, and he has a 6/5, just like Heimdall. So 6 on the healthy, 5 on the days side. So I'm gonna still, or the injured side. I'm gonna count that as a victory. There, we still got that right. Just got the numbers swapped. Size 2, medium range, medium movement, and a 3 threat. I'm pretty sure that I'm always going to get the size right because the sizes are relative to the bases, but you never know. They're usually relative to the bases, but it's neither here nor there. So right now I'm going to say overall, even though I got the Mystic wrong, overall it's weighted in my favor. So that part is a success. So part 1 is a success. Let's take a look at his abilities. We have 2 attacks. This first one is a physical attack called Battle Axe. Range 2, 6 dice, 0 power. You get 1 power after the attack is resolved, and it also has the bleed special condition. You're really going to want to be hitting with this almost every time before you go to the next one. It's another physical attack called the Executioner. This is a range 3, 8 dice, 4 power cost. If the target character has the bleed special condition, you can re-roll up to 2 of your attack dice during the attack. That's pretty awesome. So you hit them with Battle Axe, get that bleed on there, hopefully, and then you come over with the Executioner, and hopefully you finish them off. Regardless, if you roll a wild symbol on this one, you can inflict bleed if they didn't have bleed already. So yay! Either way, they should be getting bleed from one of these 2 attacks. So the next up we have is his superpower called Storm Giant Strength. We've already covered that he's half Storm Giant, half Asgardian. Well, in the comics he is. I think in the comics, Thor is actually all Asgardian instead of actually being half Aesir and half giant in like actual mythology, but that's neither here nor there. And this is one I know I got wrong because I did not, for some reason, include it in my version of stat card, even though I mentioned it when I was reviewing all of his abilities. Anyways, this is a 3 power costing superpower. Choose an interactive terrain feature size 3 or less within range 2. Throw it range S. I know I got that wrong. Right Hand Man is a reactive power. This is another one I'm pretty sure I got wrong because I forget that he's a bodyguard, mainly a bodyguard, usually for Enchantress because she doesn't like to engage. Or Hela, he's usually the go-between, or the Right Hand Man. I got this wrong. It costs 2 power. When an enemy character within range 2 of this character targets another allied character with an attack, this character can use the superpower, and he becomes the target of the attack regardless of range and line of sight. Think about that. That is very handy, ladies and gentlemen. Then we have 2 innate abilities. Aggressive. After an attack targeting the character is resolved, if this character suffered damage, it can advance range S. Not too bad. I like that. And then as Guardian, he gets the additional power in the power phase. Let's take a look at my comparison and just prepare to be ashamed, John. So strike, I've got range 2, 5 dice, 0. We're pretty close there with his Battle Axe. Gain power equal to damage. We're wrong. He's still gaining power, but not equal to the damage dealt. We did get the wild bleed right. There's enough here. We're close enough that I would say that's a win. We're right there, close enough. Next one, force projection is nowhere near on there, which is weird because he's known for being able to blast people with his axe, but they didn't include it. So I'm taking a loss. Now let's take a look at Bloodlust. Range 2, 7 dice, 4 power. We're pretty close to the Executioner ability, which is range 3, 8, and 4. I had Wild Symbol make an additional attack against the same target. Well, we don't get that, but we do cause bleed, and you get to roll up to 2 attack dice. So in a way, it could be an attack. I know I'm reaching here. I'm going to say we're close. We're close enough that I'm not going to call it a win. I'm not going to call it a loss. It's very muddied, I think. You guys might say that, yeah, you're just going to take the loss, John, but I think we're close, guys. I really do. So next up is Storm Giant Strength. Well, I didn't include Storm Giant Strength like I should have. I'm a big dummy. even after I talked about that. I, ugh. So there's another loss. So now we got 2 losses, 1 success on this page, and 1 neutral. Then we got the Divine Slaying Axe I had there for 3 power against threats or against threat 5 or higher targets. Gain bonus attack dice for the remainder of the activation. Inflicts hex. Boy, was I just all over the effing place. Screw that one. Another loss there. So now what am I at? 3 losses now? 2 losses? 2 losses and 1 success and 1. Oh, not looking good, guys. Not looking good. Was that a 1-1-2 or 2-1-1? However you want to look at that. Power. I've got super durability. Gain 2 defense dice for 2 power. Not really. That could be close to being right-hand man because it is a defensive ability. There could, I think an argument could be made. I was pretty much in that area. So I'm not gonna count that as a loss. I'm gonna count that as a neutral or a tie. We're in there, but we're not quite there enough to call it a victory, and we're definitely past it being a failure. So we're gonna count it as a tie. And then as Guardian, I've got right. So it's 1 right, 2 failures. 2 right, 2 failures, and 2 abstaining, I guess, out of all that. So if I count in the first segment, when we count all their superpower or all of his stats, I could say this is a victory. I'm going to say this is, I'm going to call this a tie. Where Heimdall was a victory, and I think Black Swan was kind of a tie, or I already forgot. This one, I'm going to definitely say this is a tie. We're in the area, but it's not strong enough to say it's a total failure or it's a total success. So we're going to call this a tie. So now with this finally done, we still have to see the team tactic cards for these characters and see how this is going. They're going to interplay with them. So some of these powers that I've mentioned for Heimdall and Scourge actually that didn't make it to their character stat card might actually make it to their team tactic cards, which could flip this to a victory. Please, I want to get these right. But reason why I'm emphasizing this is because I'm trying to get a little bit more focused on this and get some predictions a little bit more accurate. And I would say from when we first started till now, we got a lot more accurate. And with the massive drops that we got right now, I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of prediction videos over the next few weeks for all these new characters and what we might be seeing as their powers. And I have a feeling some of them I'm going to be really like Captain America, and depending on which version of the Red Skull we're going to be getting, I might be way off the mark on those. But everybody else, we might, I think I might have a better chance. Let me know what you guys think. Am I really just fooling myself and I am just way wrong and I need to take the loss on both of these or a Scourge? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, you guys have yourself a wonderful weekend. I will probably try to get some videos up tomorrow for Star Wars and whatever else is revealed. Anyways, you guys have yourself a wonderful night, and I'll chat with you later. See ya.